Okay, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you. Okay, I have a very quick announcement to make before we move on to the next speaker and to our after party, which is coming very, very soon, I do promise. So I want to introduce you to a very special lady who has been with us from yesterday. This lady, her name is Magda. She flew in from Singapore yesterday to give one of the most amazing talks at the underground session. But as she arrived in Tel Aviv the first time in her life, somebody grabbed her laptop. So, Magda, I want to tell you that, first of all, Omer has given you his iPad, and you can keep that iPad. Second of all, I've spoken to some of our sponsors for the underground session, and we're going to see what we can do to help you get a new laptop back, and we're going to be in touch with you about that. Please give it up for Magda. She still gave her talk, and she gave an awesome talk. Magda's talk was in the underground session. The underground session is something that you had to be in to witness. It was not videotaped, so next year I hope we'll see more of you winning our challenges and joining us in the underground session. And thank you very much, Magda, for being here with us, and you will join us in the after party. Thank you so much. Please give her a very good welcome. Now, in a minute, we'll have the next speaker, and after that next speaker, we have a very quick closing keynote. So we're 2 talks away from the after party. And thank you very much, Inbar. I just want to say one more time, also thank you to our team, everybody with the red shirts, our volunteers, our goons, our sponsors. Our sponsors, no? Okay. You know who our sponsors are? Yes, they are still here. These are some of our sponsors. These are all of our sponsors. And to Tel Aviv University for hosting us so generously and for free here in this room. Okay, that's, okay, no problem. While we wait for, yes? Guy? Yeah, we need that ball. This ball is part of the next session for some reason. Yay! I see. Okay, woo! All right. At the after party, by the way, you will be able to meet our speakers, and we will have pizzas and beers. And we hope also that you guys already save your calendar for 2018 BSIDES. And we want to hear from you after the talk is done, after the conference is done. We want to hear from you on our Twitter. We want to hear from you on Facebook. You can send me a fax to my Instagram. No? Okay. Some of you are still alive. Some of you think it's actually a thing. No, fax to Instagram is like the new Snapchat. Seriously. Exactly. You ready? Are we ready? No? Okay. I will tell you more about Snapchatting, which is a thing I've never done in my life. There you go.
So remember that I told you before, a few minutes ago, that I love whenever a speaker returns to BSIDES. So we have another amazing speaker that is returning this year, my good friend Moshe. By the way, I'm going to have a few words. If somebody's going to DEF CON and keeps Shabbat, just talk with him afterwards. He organizes some pretty awesome conferences that are not fireside talks. Yeah. So go for it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, Ezra. Thank you, Omer. Okay, every time I make a mistake with the whiskey, and I'm a bit dizzy, so if I blab bullshit, that is a good excuse for what comes next. Okay, so we're going to talk about Mqtt. It's a word I've made up. It's a protocol for IoT. IoT devices and many others. I think it's fun. I think it's profitable for hackers, so it's here. My name is Moshe Zioni. I'm from Verint. I'm a security research manager. My AKA dalmoz, if you like. I also, as I said, running the ShabbatCon 3 years in a row. So if you're coming to DEF CON, thank you. If you're coming to DEF CON and want to spend a Shabbos with Shabbos meals and maybe even prayers, Sefer Torah, etc., I'm the address for that. So anyway, thank you. Now come. Okay, so this is it. Now about Mqtt, I have a little time and a demo. I have here. Can you see the LED light, like the green one? No, you can't see it. You can? Maybe I have a chair or something. Anyway, so this is part of the demo. It will stay there. We won't move from there, and hopefully the demo gods will be with us today, and it will be fine. Afterwards, I tell an anecdote about Karen, but it's not now. Okay, so let's start. We're going to talk about Mqtt. What is Mqtt? What is the utilization for it? Some usage. Yeah, thank you, Inbar. Fun and profit with it, of course. We're going to talk about recon, about enumeration, and all the way up to remote code execution, which I know some of you drool over. So hopefully it will be okay. Oh, thanks. Just the chair to there. Right. Okay, and lastly, we will have a Q&A. Hopefully a couple of minutes or so. Okay, so Mqtt. Message queue, telemetry, transport. It's very similar to MQ if you know MQ from another project. It's a dumbed down version of MQ in some sense. It means that you connect IoTs to provide them with the communication ability between them. You have one broker central. It can be many, but at least one broker. And at least two sensors or devices, whatever you have, that connect to this broker and communicate with each other. The promise is pretty basic. I will do it quickly as I can. Hang on for a second. We have like 4 terminologies that we want to remember. Now we have publisher, we have subscriber, we have topic, and we have a broker. So a broker is usually a server. In this case, I have a Raspberry Pi that will behave as a broker for me. And the broker is a small computer, maybe a big computer, that will engage with all the orchestration between the two and mediate between the clients that connect to him. So the clients that are connected in our example is a sensor, let's say a temperature sensor, and a mobile device that can be, of course, it's not an IoT, proper IoT, but it can talk with Mqtt for several reasons. So in this example, we'll have a subscription. Subscription is like, I want to listen to this channel. Channels are topics. Topics have some kind of a hierarchy that we'll cover off in a slide or two. So I want to hear about weather/TLV. Now, it's a subscription. I want to subscribe to this channel or topic. So the next part is that after it's subscribed, the broker will remember, index the sensor itself. It has a ID with him, and then from now on he will get any kind of information, if it's allowed to, from this topic. Now for publishing under this topic, surprise, surprise, it's called publishing. Some other sensor, or maybe the same sensor, sends publishing message over the channel of weather TLV with the value or payload 29C. A payload is actually any kind of binary blob that you can think of, and 29C, in this example, of course, 29 Celsius for Tel Aviv is pretty okay. And then the next part is the broker will mediate between the two, meaning that he will get the value from the publisher, will think who need to publish to, and he will publish it to the mobile device that requests to be subscribed. Now again, many sensors can be subscribed, so we have a multicast-like situation in there. That's it. That's the whole thing is a breakdown like that. Now, one small asterisk about it, I didn't include connect, disconnect, acknowledgement of those and others, and keep alive and QoS. I know maybe some of you that know Mqtt will miss those, but it's not important for the talk, and maybe it will be somewhat cumbersome for a slide. So remember that we have other things that are not covered in this slide, but it's as simple as it read. Maybe QoS need a bit more explanation, but you all can do it, of course. Okay, so just to break down a hierarchy, we have a weather, TLV, just sample, and then a humidity or temp. So we have in this example, let me check where is it. Oh, yeah. So in this example, we have a weather TLV, which is a subtopic for weather. Weather TLV and weather TLV humidity. In some cases we have weather TLV temp, and et cetera. We can make up as we go any kind of topic that we want. The important thing to keep is that we have a hierarchy. It will be very important if you want to use wildcards. For example, we have TLV humidity and TLV temp. If you want to subscribe to weather, TLV, whatever you got, we will have a hashtag. It will get any kind of hierarchy level that you want, but you have a plus. Hopefully you can see it down there. The plus means give me exactly one subtopic of this kind. So it will be, in this example, weather plus temp will get you either weather TLV temp and weather ger temp. Okay. hopefully that was pretty quick and pretty understandable. What is used for? What is the motivation for us in other examples? There's smart home automation. That's the first part of it. Smart automation means that when we want to automate our house, our maybe gardening options or house or villas, whatever you like, or yacht. So you have a smart home automation, whatever you like it to be. And messaging, of course, is something that became huge in the last couple of years. And one of those, maybe the most important player until now, until AWS and Microsoft, was Facebook, which actually used Mqtt in Messenger. They are the longest, I think, the biggest and the longest preserving Mqtt units as a whole in the world. And now AWS got really into IoT, and the prime protocol for them is Mqtt. And you have other protocols, but Mqtt is the most prime. And the Microsoft IoT Hub, which is exactly the same, but in Azure. So you have IoT clubs within them, so you can connect from the cloud to your house and connect everything to it. Wow, is great. Okay, so home automation, it means that you can automate it all. You can connect to your cat feeder. You can automate your audio, your maybe shades into when you sense something inside with the sensor. The sensor sends this kind of light is shading the house, and then you pull out the shades or whatever you like. You can automate it all. Now, usually when I tell it to people, I have two kind of reactions, only two. The first one is, oh, that's awesome. I can feed my cat when I'm abroad. I can make the Roomba clean the room only when the child is getting out of there. Everything is magical. The future is here. The other one is that. I will read it without the profanity. When the F did we all become so effing lazy, what the actual F is this crap? Well, I think that it exposes much of Fenrir's reaction to that. And it was a reaction like a week ago for AWS Summit, which was actually in Tel Aviv. And there was Philips that actually covered with the AWS IoT cloud service their lighting at home. Of course, the lighting at home is the most naive type that you can think of. It's a vanilla type of home automation that you can think, and many vendors use this kind of maybe lame, but actually very successful term for what you can switch on and off, and that's it. So this is the two reactions that I always get from people. Now, for security, this is the security model. The authentication is pretty complex, actually. You can reach by, the Mqtt is a protocol which is well standardized nowadays, and you can read it online. And it has TCP or WebSockets. For now, it's only plain text, but you can use a password, again, plain text, unless you are using TLS. And when using TLS, there are complete instructions how to use it, like a TLS spinning, which is great, right? And you have certificate, client-side certificate, which is also great. We always push into client-side certificate. But we'll get to the but in a one slide over. Permissions for those topics, we can go by per topic and per method. For example, Jacob can reach the topic of weather TLV and subscribe to it, but only Melanie can publish to the weather TLV. Okay, so you can do a permission model. There is a per QoS, of course. I'm just mentioning it for a completeness of this slide, but I won't talk about it. Okay, on the other side, you have the insecurity of the same model. And the insecurity, I'm afraid to say, it's pretty massive, in my opinion. First of all, many devices are small. The device that I'm holding there is just a switch on and off. That's it. Very small in power, very small in memory. They can't actually use TLS so good. TLS is an experimental feature under this kind of device, and it's not expected to anyone unless you are a developer to use it. So you can guess that many devices won't support TLS out of the box. You need to hack it out in order to do so. And mostly need to be attack savvy in order to configure, because if you like to think about client certificate distribution and how you update those and how you monitor those and how you maintain all those IoTs around the world, it's pretty crazy for a single person and or maybe even a team. And of course, when you don't have a centralized management for those all, it's a big problem. So it's pretty hard to operate, although the protocol itself is supporting all kinds of happy, joy protocols. The second thing, which is much more severe in my opinion, is that permissions are set on the broker side, on the server, but topics are decided by the device, and the broker can't know unless there is some kind of protocol between them, can't know what are the topics that are residing within the device. So the manager for the broker needs to put in manually for now. There is no standard for automatic negotiation between them. Manually need to enter the topics that he or she knows of, and what kind of permission model he needs. That's pretty crazy, because you can't know whatever the device has, what kind of weird topics you will have. You won't know the effect of each topic, what is sensitive, what is not sensitive. So that's a pretty big disadvantage for using MQTT nowadays. Hopefully in the near future, maybe we'll see some standard. I guess I'm not the only one that's seeing that. And it's authorized by default, meaning that when you install broker, like open source broker, a very popular open source broker called Mosquito, it's out of the box by default. All topics are open. The only thing that the broker does is to negotiate and to maintain the actual values for each topic that is getting out and in. But you can make up as you go any topic that you like. And super protected channel doesn't mean protected broker, and many used to think, of course, that it is not true. The perfect example for it, anyone that did penetration testing knows, and it's a cliche, but it's true, that the client says to you, okay, we fixed the SQL injection. How did you fix it? What is the answer? We put TLS inside. So this is, we heard about it many times. Don't laugh, that's mean. But you know that's true, right? You know that's true, that in actual answers that you hear as a consultant, or as anyone that needs to design for architectural, security architecture for any kind of software, and you hear it a lot. The confusion between in-transit encryption and on-storage encryption is huge and needs to be a bullet on this slide, and that's why it's there. Okay, so we talked about the insecurity, but there is one more thing that I want to mention. IoT devices, and not so different from other devices, but IoT in specific has the best kind of vulnerabilities. What are those kind of vulnerabilities? Shout out. Unpatchable. Unpatchable, that's great, but I'm looking for another answer, but it's the second one. It's features. Okay, you have features on IoT, and it's a feature, it's gonna stay there. Okay, that's the purpose of it, that's okay. And you have no one to call to if you think that this feature is really sucks. So those are features on those devices, and I will, in a second, we'll get to it. Okay, so those features, let's look at some fun and profit for those features. Okay, first of all, if you want to scan out the internet or any kind of client or anything like that, of course, we are looking at the ethical hacker side. We want to scan something, we want to know the default ports for it. So you have TCP, you have a default port for TCP with SSL, we have default port for WebSocket, and WebSocket with SSL. I don't need to read the numbers from the slide, of course. And you have, of course, Shodan docking. I just clutched together Shodan and Google docking, excuse me. You can look for the servers Mqtt, which currently resides with like 35,000 brokers on the internet. Free brokers, everyone. You can break into them. Okay, so no, I'll never do such a thing. No, never. So Mqtt is a pretty sure without many false positives if you look for exactly brokers. And the ports, of course, and Mosquito is a pretty sure thing. I will get you a topic list in a second. So as I said, with simple docking, you get like 10,000. I received more than 100,000 devices. That's crazy number of devices online that's unprotected and is very, very dangerous. And if you like bots, if you need bots, that's a good way to start your day. Okay, so let's get into topics. Banner grabbing. If I want to know what kind of server is holding the broker, what kind of version or what kind of software is on the broker, I can call the $sys/broker/version. That's a standard. You will find it. You need to find it on any other broker that you will find online, and it will need to get you the exact version for it. Some are giving you just the version, and some, like Mosquito, gives you Mosquito version. If it's just a version, from my experience, it's usually what's called Hive MQ, is the second in order of popularity for brokers. So that's the first step. The $sign I will get to you in a second. There is a special order for this $sign. And this is the full list of $signs, $sys topic tree on brokers, and in specific the brokers for Mosquitto. Nothing of importance, but maybe you want to check if something is working or not, and maybe if you want to check how many connected devices it has. This is a great advantage if you want to know how attractive this broker is for you. Okay, so we talked about it because topics are actually hard to enumerate. You can't just ask a broker, give me all your topics, because as I said, he can't know what all the topics are, and the QoS can affect also what kind of topics he remembers. So you can use the just hash. Use just hash when you subscribe to something. It will subscribe you to all the channels that it will receive in the future, and maybe some of the past. So from now on, you need to keep on the hash. You need to keep on the connection and see what exactly is happening. And when all things go all right, you can receive after some period of time maybe most of the topics that are most talkative on the broker. As I said, the $sign is special because it's the equivalent of the dot for the ls command. It's a feature, as the dot in ls command is a feature, which was a vulnerability at the time. So this kind of feature is also implemented by standard. If you are using $something in the topic tree, you will get it unknown from this kind of wildcards. Pretty good approach. AWS are using that as $as the AWS, so you can traverse enumerate all the topics. Okay, those are topics that you can actually investigate and understand what is standing behind that. We will talk a bit further about SONOFF and about own tracks. And I'll get just into it. But before that, if you just enumerate topics, you still can get some gems. In this example, you get the username and password for someone on the internet. I will never use it against its SSH, and I won't know if it's root compatible to the system itself. No way. Never. So this is the list. The list is, of course, from errors in implementation when you try to run some, I guess, from my analysis, you try to run some online courses and try to some scripts, and the scripts got rambled for some reason, and he got all this bunch of hell together. So you can read his username and password for some reason in the topic itself, by topic without the value. The second thing is that. What is that? Someone can read that? Yeah, Ezra said it right. This is an SQL injection attempt. Why it's on topics, I can't know for sure. My analysis, I can guess that it's connected to some kind of a web service, and the web service is translating it into topics. So someone tried to search or something like that, a field, or brute force a field for SQL injection, like SQL map, and that's the result. The list is huge on those topics. It has like, I think, tens of thousands of topics, because someone really tried to SQL inject Mqtt. Good luck with that. Okay, own tracks. Own tracks, I will make it quick. Own tracks is a tracking software. You can install it on your Android or iOS. Again, it's not a proper IoT, it's a smartphone, but you also can do it, and parents are doing it for their children to see whatever they are, or on their significant other for some reason, or on themselves, because we need to know a map on the plasma in the room, where the kids are going. I don't know. So anyway, own tracks is very good, but it's very good for us because we can spy on anyone that is connected to own tracks by definition. For this example, own tracks will be followed by the name of the person usually, and the name of the device. I need to point to it. And then this is the result. I broke down the JSON, but of course it's a one-liner of the JSON. You have the timestamp, and you have the accuracy of it, location of it, longitude, latitude, and battery usage. That's very useful to know if it's home or just, I don't know, at friends or at school. So that's great, and I used it. I used to just a small anecdote. I used it, and I tried to pinpoint someone. I get to Texas. That's cool, Texas. I know that. And I pinpointed a site, and then I got to Street View. That's what I got. I guess that no one can read what is on the door, but then I have a zoom in, which it's either a coincidence or the greatest troll of Mqtt ever. Okay. But it moved after like hours, 3 hours or 4 hours after, and I recorded it like 24 or 26 hours. And then plotted it on a plot, and you can see whatever he got from the office and where he got to do some I don't know, Whole Foods or anything like that. And then returned home. Very fascinating. Anyone should do it. No, but maybe it's fascinating for you. So that's fine. That's a low-level stuff. Nothing very impressive. But now we have the son-of. As I said, son-of, and I like to call it son-of because you'll see in a second. The son-of is a switch, just a switch on-off, or a smart on-off, whatever you want to call it. It's actually a simple board. You can spot here there's some connection to serial, a relay, a mechanical relay, a capacitor, something very, a transformator, and a LED. This is the green LED that you should see. I will check again if you can see it. It's not that important, but it will be nice if you can see it. And it's just sit on any kind of line that you like, and you turn it into a smart something. You can put it on your lights, on your door, on your garage, on your shades, whatever you need, and it will do the job for in, on, and off. So that's it. The backside is much more important and interesting because here you can see the ESP8266, and you can see the Wi-Fi, of course. 8266 is a very popular nowadays chip that is some kind of an architecture, 10 silica. And this is a very small chip, think on Arduino, but much more powerful in terms of megahertz. And it has 1 megabyte of storage and like about 120 kilobytes of RAM. And can do magnificent things if you just need something to do something very simple like IoT's. So it's pretty cool. You have a platform called MicroPython for it if you like Python and want to investigate it further. So that's it. A very, very simple board, and it needs to go up to 10 amps. But I tried it, and it didn't. Don't try it. Okay, now. I have another slide, and then I will get to the prayers. So it can come up with magnificent topics like those. You can ask it, what is your Wi-Fi SSID, which is kind of okay. You can ask it, what is the password for the Wi-Fi? Thank you. What is the user password for Mqtt? Thank you. Over-the-air URL is something very important. I want to have a minute with it. Over-the-air is, of course, the mechanism for upgrading the firmware without connecting to cable. Just over the air. Cars has it. It's a cool name, buzzword, whatever you need. And over-the-air URL is the URL that you can ask it. What is the URL that you are configured it with to receive updates for your firmware? That's cool. You have updates for son-of. That's great. And you can configure it by hard coding into the firmware, or maybe to configure the switch after it's loaded into your machine. What? TLS. I tried TLS with son-of. It broke. So I didn't get I say more than that. It uses HTTP 1.0. And it can resolve 301, 302. It's moved permanently or moved temporarily, and I couldn't use the demo until I figured I need to dumb down the connection for HTTP 1.0. Don't use it HTTP 1.0, kids. It's dangerous. So OTA URL is giving you the URL that is configured with. But let's say man the middle for those will be hard because you are on the other side of the globe and you are not near the machine anywhere on the connection. Let's say that. So maybe we'll try something else. But before that, we have over-the-air trigger. We can trigger the over-the-air upon request. That's cool, right? You need to have this kind of mechanism. But then again, when I try to publish to the OTA URL, it saves my URL. I publish a new URL, and it saves it on the son-of. So I can change whatever URL I need. Now, why the Wi-Fi is very important? Wi-Fi SSID and password. Why it's important? Because when I'm looking to change the firmware, I need it to be hard-coded with the SSID and password for the local site. If not, I will not have a connection back. Unless I'm waiting for the human that sits there anywhere in the apartment and configure it by hand, understanding that he doesn't have a connection for this device. So when I have Wi-Fi SSID, Wi-Fi password, I need the OT URL to be changed, which I will, and then trigger the upgrade. And all of this thing need to go right now on stage. Wish me luck. Okay, so a quick repeat, request SSID and pass. I won't show you the pass, okay, cheeky bastards. And then compile an evil firmware with hard-coded values. I pre-compiled the firmware not to waste time. It's like a minute, can take a minute or so. And publish OT URL link to point to your evil firmware. It's there on the cloud. And forcefully request an OTA upgrade. After this, I will have a connection to the machine because that's the only way to receive remote code execution. There is no code execution unless I have some kind of a memory corruption, and I need to know the architecture and then build up a payload for that, which is kind of messy and hard in this situation because it's an obscure technology for architecture. But I can take up the firmware and compile it and have a full-blown remote code execution by firmware upgrade. Okay. Yeah, please.
Amen.
Amen. Okay. Now, I will introduce some tools for you to enjoy and for me to use. The first tool is Mqtt FX. Is a pretty cool Java, why I don't know, a Java-based tool which will give you a nice interface to locate and to use Mqtt over networks. You have many clients, by the way. I just chose 2. And the second one is the Mqtt Lens, which is actually a Chrome extension, was a Chrome app, and now it's Chrome extension. Mqtt Lens, again, very useful for me. Now I'll try to, oh, no. Don't tell me it's disconnected. Everything can happen. Yeah. No, it should be okay. Just a sec. I will check. Okay. Technology. Oh, of course. I'm connected to TAU for some reason. Ugh. Why? It's okay. I have a VPN. I know what you're thinking. Okay, now I'm connected. Okay. I have 1 minute 20. No, I don't want it. Someone can close down free TAU, please. Okay. So now I have. No, it's always disconnected for some reason. Hopefully, it's not. It's a problem with my computer. It's not a problem with anything else. Okay. Excuse me for that. And here, I will have the connection back. Okay, that's a remote site that I will use. I will show it in a second. First of all, I will show you the Mqtt Lens because I want to do a request for the SSID. The reason that I'm using Mqtt Lens instead of the other one is that the other one will not have a null payload for some reason, and it will compromise the whole thing. So I did an SSID. Oh, forgot to show you. So I won't extend it so it will be clear for me as well. Excuse me. I'm out of time, but if Amit will excuse me, I will take one minute. Okay, I'm connected. And then I will do the SSID. Oh, I'm forgetting that we're on the same thing. Okay, I'm publishing it. I will get a result under results. Oh. Subscribe. Again, I will do publish SSID. I will get the result. The result is Mqtt demo. Yeah, I won't show you the password, but maybe afterwards, so no one will do anything bad. I'm ready with the upgrade, but I want to first of all use the evil firmware. So I have here evil firmware. Of course, I will publish any kind of tool that I've managed to come up with during this research, and of course the firmware itself. Okay, so I'm updating the OTA URL, publishing it. I will see the result again on the result page. If you can see evil firmware, oh, I have a return. Again, okay. So I have a result. That's a good result. Evil firmware is on, and now I need to upgrade. Before the upgrade, I will get ready with the connection. Of course. Now I should publish it. See the result. Okay, looks good. Offline looks good. And of course, I will retain, if it will be okay, I will retain any kind of functionality over it. I use the same firmware, just upgraded it to be evil. So the client will not notice a thing. Please, please, please. It will take like 20 seconds. Okay. Online, results successful. I can't stand it. Restarting, yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
Wow.
No time for questions, right? So afterwards, please. Yeah, thank you.
Questions over beer.